Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of The Future is Spoken, a new podcast show produced by the Digital Assistant Academy. This show accompanies the Digital Assistant Academy's course entitled Voice Interaction Design. You don't need to be enrolled in the course to get something from this podcast. Each episode will feature exclusive information found only in the course content. By listening to this podcast, you will come away with valuable details about the world of voice assistants and the opportunities that are arising in the voice assistant industry. Of course, we encourage you to sign up for this groundbreaking learning opportunity so that you can become a certified voice interaction designer. If you register before the end of September 2020, you will be eligible for a 15% discount on course fees. Enter the code DALAUNCH for your discount. That's DELAUNCH. We'll include these details in the show notes. As we mentioned in the trailer episode, the Digital Assistant Academy is founded by Shyamala Prayaga, a voice technology thought leader with more than 20 years' experience in the industry. Shyamala has designed for mobile, web, desktop, and voice-based interfaces. Voice-based interfaces are the technology of the future, and the Digital Assistant Academy's Voice Interaction Design course will make you job-ready for new and exciting opportunities. But first, the Future is Spoken host, Sheila Cagle, talked to Shyamala, founder of the Digital Assistant Academy. Based in Michigan, Shyamala's work has been presented nationally and internationally. She is a well-known industry expert and speaker with 2 patents. Shyamala's well-respected publications are referenced in academia research projects. Enjoy the episode.
Welcome to The Future is Spoken, Shyamala.
Thank you so much, Sheila.
It's exciting for you to be launching your very own podcast for the Digital Assistant Academy. How do you feel about launching this show?
I'm super excited.
That's great. It's good to be talking to you today. So before we jump into the subject of voice technology, tell us a bit about yourself and your background.
Sure. So, I've been in this industry for a long time. I mean, I've been in the user experience industry for 20 years, and 7 years of which has been solely into the voice technology and voice design. So I've led leadership, management, design, and technical related roles in various companies, including Amazon, Ford, and many startups.
Positions you well at this point in your career to be launching the Digital Assistant Academy.
Yeah, you can say that.
Good. So we're hearing so much about voice technology and UX today. Can you, first of all, give us a definition of voice technology? And is voice technology the same as voice recognition?
So this is a good question. So voice technology is a combination of things. So when you interact with a voice assistant like Alexa or Google Assistant, as an end user, you are just interacting with it. You say what is the weather, it would answer, or you ask it, who are you, it would answer. That's what is the experience side of it, right? But in the back end, there are lots and lots of technologies which are working in conjunction to make it work. So what is a voice technology? I would say that voice technology is a combination of things like speech recognition technology, the natural language processing, or the text-to-speech together makes the voice assistant work. And to answer your question about the voice recognition being the same as voice technology, I would say like voice recognition is a part of the voice technology, the first one which I was saying.
Okay, I understand. So voice technology is an umbrella term for various features of the technology that we're becoming used to very quickly with our phones, in our homes, with devices that we use in our cars, etc.
Yeah.
Okay.
All the different things which users interact with is a voice technology. We call it voice assistant, digital assistant, or like conversational assistants. There are multiple names to it, but the underlying technologies are pretty much the same.
I understand. And tell us why UX is specifically important for people who want to work as voice technology assistants.
User experience is in everything we do, right? When you go to a restaurant or you have the food, like if the waiter served you the food really late, you would be super frustrated. Or if the food was really yummy, you would be like, you will have a great experience. So based on how, the experience, the ambience, the food, the waiter or everyone made you feel, that's how you define whether you want to use something or not. So it's the same with voice assistant, right? So I call it the tip of the iceberg. When users interact with your voice assistant, they care about the experience, how the assistant made them feel, whether it was boring, whether it was fun, it was exciting, whether the learning curve was less or how much learning curve was there, and things like that. So the experience becomes really important. And the moment it comes to voice assistant, why it becomes more important is voice is a very natural modality. Voice comes to us naturally. Like we started speaking when we were kids. So when we there was no effort to learn how to speak, because it naturally came to us, unlike the technology. So the expectation for the user is when they are interacting with the voice assistant, they would expect it to be seamless for them. But then, if we are asking them to learn the machine's language, that's where the gap is. So, user experience is important because that helps us understand how users speak, how they think, and then align and design our voice assistants to fit into their needs.
I see. So to become a very successful voice technology assistant, you really have to look ahead and anticipate a user's experience of a product or system that you're designing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of processes involved, like similar kind of processes which we have used in user experience, like understanding the users, doing research, testing, or designing the interactions, doing early on testings. All the UX processes which we design or which we use in the product design, any kind of like touch based product, can be applied pretty much to voice interactions as well.
That's an interesting answer. I was actually going to ask you, does a voice technology assistant or designer, do they have to do a fair bit of research on each project that they work on?
Yes, depends on how the company is set up. They might have to do it by themselves, or they will partner with a researcher. But research is really important to understand who your target audience is. It is important to understand how they speak, how will they interact when you design your dialogues. It is important to then test it out and see that your dialogues or responses are aligned to what the user's expectations are, because we don't want them to be stuck anywhere. So pretty much, like depends on the company setup. Either you partner or you do it yourself, but you need to be very closely tied with the research.
I see. So ensure that research is built into the process somewhere, regardless of who precisely is responsible for it.
Yeah.
I see. Now, what is it about voice technology that excites you?
The first and foremost thing I would say is, it's natural. So people talk all the time. We started talking, like I mentioned, as a kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
As like this is how you have to talk. So it's so natural. It's so unique that everyone can like speak the way they want, and the assistant responds. Unlike any touch interfaces where you have to go through a very sequential order, like you press here, then you see a pop up, and then you then press it and do some action and things like that. Voice can go into any direction, and that is one of the interesting and challenging aspects, and I love challenges. So that's one more thing. And another thing is like we have thought about voice in the past, like we've seen in the movies, the sci-fi movies, like how Jarvis was one of the assistants, like trying to protect the house.
Mm-hmm.
So things like that we have seen in the movies, but who would have thought that we would actually talk to assistant? Like we thought like talking is just we just talk to humans, but we wouldn't have thought about, talking to gadgets or devices. And thanks to technology, now we are able to. So, like I mentioned, it does have its, share of challenges, because now everything is so open. People can speak however they want, in whatever language they want, and in whatever sequence they want. So, thinking about all those things and designing is really challenging. And I think that is one of the reasons. And as we start thinking about, the voice technologies, it has evolved into even chatbots. We have chatbots, we have voice assistants, even in kiosks or drive-throughs or in the cars. So the utility and the adoption is everywhere. We can see it everywhere and anywhere.
Mm, that's so true. I think the first time I heard voice technology was probably when I was a kid on Star Trek, and talking to the computers, and they responded, and it was just absolutely amazing. I've never seen anything like it. So it does present some fascinating and exciting possibilities. Now, let's talk about the Digital Assistant Academy, which, sounds like such a brilliant thing to set up. Tell us a little bit why you've decided to launch the Digital Assistant Academy and what it can offer its students.
So there are a couple of things here. So one of the reasons why I developed the voice interaction design course is because, voice, ever since Siri was launched in 2011, and then, Alexa was launched in 2014, the voice industry has completely changed the direction. Now, people are using it everywhere. There's a lot of demand for voice interaction designers as well. There are different names for people who design interactions for voice. Some call it VUI, some call it CUI. But basically, if you look at this industry, it is picking up super fast. And there's a lot of opportunities, because now, thanks to Alexa, Google Assistant, and other providers, they have opened up third-party developer apps. So you can also see, skills and actions being developed for Alexa or Google Assistant. So there's companies who want to do it. Many companies have started building their own, voice assistant. So there's a lot of opportunity. But if you look at, the demand and supply, there's very less. The first thing is that there's too much demand for voice interaction. So most of the people, because there's no formal education or trainings available out there, they look at blog posts or some YouTube videos, and they learn while in the job. And although that is not a bad thing, but the biggest challenge what this provides is that there's no one set process, and everyone is doing whatever they want, or whatever or however things are working out for them. And that is why, when you interact with the voice assistants, there are some quirky experiences. Some voices you will want to interact more with, some assistants you don't want to interact as much with, or they are labeled as dumb, or things like that. And then the other part of it is, these voice assistants are also being thought about in terms of privacy and ethics. And there are a lot of aspects to it. But as if you're self-learning, the biggest challenge is, you will not be able to cover all of these things, and you're just learning by yourself and applying those things. So my vision with this course is, providing students with everything they should be knowing to design voice interactions in the car, at home, smart speakers, smartphones, or your mobile apps, or your any kind of voice applications you want to design, like third-party Alexa skills or Google Actions.
I see. So there's a real issue with supply and demand there. And also, as you said, there's a lack of standardization. So someone could work in an organization, they could find out how to do something and completely miss that crucial aspect of privacy, and perhaps even risk creating a privacy violation with a user, which would be pretty scary. So we've got this level of demand. It sounds as though businesses are already looking at integrating and using voice technology, but what about the businesses that it hasn't even crossed their mind? How should they be approaching it?
So, see, there are a lot of things I would say here. Businesses, who want to start their own, for them also, it's really helpful to understand the building blocks of technologies, to understand how the voice interaction work, to understand the design aspect of it, to understand the process aspect of it, and then also understand the ethical aspect, privacy aspect. One of the biggest thing which I see is missing in the voice assistant is inclusivity. They are designed, but then they are not designed keeping inclusivity in mind. So what is happening is, like voice assistants are being used by a certain population, but the other population are being deprived because, it does not fit. For example, people who have some sort of disability, people who have autism, they also want to use the assistant, but they cannot. So, anyone wanting to start a voice business as well need to know all of the different aspects so that they can think about all of these when they are designing, and they can apply the processes. So that way it becomes really seamless and they can have a successful business out there. So for example, there are many third party apps available in Alexa or Google Assistant, but 30 or 35% of people use them. 60% of people don't know. Part of the reason is because of discoverability issues, or because they don't trust. So why do they not trust? Because maybe they had some bad experience, or because because of the news they keep hearing. And these third party apps are from someone who created their own app, like starting their business. So if they knew the right tools, technologies, techniques, processes, methodologies, or like the psychology and all of those things, maybe there could be a transition into the mindset of people, because you have designed an app which is trustful for the users, or which has the better experience for the users.
I see. Okay. So businesses, it's almost as though you're saying businesses really have to look at every segment of the market that they serve and ensure that they're serving them as best they can, and voice technology can really fulfill that experience of, the expectation, I should say, that a client or customer may have. Yeah, that's fascinating.
The Digital Assistant Academy's Voice Interaction Design course has been designed to give learners the best opportunities for success. It is a self-paced course which has 9 key learning objectives for you as a student. You can find the full list of learning objectives on this episode page at digitalassistant.academy. That's digitalassistant.academy. Some of the learning objectives are: 1. Having a strong understanding of fundamentals of voice interfaces. 2. Learning the techniques of voice and conversational design. 3. Understanding the power of conversation and applied techniques in voice design. 4. And finally, applying all your learning into capstone projects. The Voice Interaction Design course is divided into 16 modules. They will be presented to you over 24 weeks. Here's just a taster of these exciting modules. 1. The skills that you need to become a voice interaction designer. 2. The building blocks of voice interaction. 3. Designing for voices. 4. The power of conversation design. 5. Voice analytics. 6. And of course, getting future ready. You can find the complete module list at this episode's page at digitalassistant.academy. That's digitalassistant.academy. Throughout the course, you will also have access to expert interviews, a career coach, along with insights from industry-leading practitioners. Now, back to this episode.
So, the first course that the Academy will offer is the Voice Interaction Designer course, and I'm assuming that you would offer additional courses going forward. But let's dig in a little bit into the Voice Interaction Designer course and why you've developed this course, and importantly, what it will offer students who decide to take the course.
There are quite a few things in here. So like I mentioned, this is the first course, and of course we are planning to launch many more. But with the Voice Interaction Designer course, the plan is to give the students a clear understanding. So when they are done with the course, we want to make sure they understand what is the fundamentals of voice interaction. They understand the techniques of voice and conversational design, which is really important. So if you look at the voice assistants out there, they have a very split personality. So, for example, Alexa would, if you ask it what is the weather, it would respond like the weather in Seattle is rainy and the high is low, the high is X, the low is X, or something along those lines, right? But when you ask who are you, it would have a very sassy personality. Or when you say good night, it would say, good night, don't let the bed bugs bite you. So, in some situations, they don't offer conversation or personality, but in other aspects, they do. So, with our course, you will learn the techniques and conversation design process, which will help you not only, design the conversations for those small bits, but make a personality which fits into the overall. So, it doesn't feel like a split personality. The next thing is, like the conversation is really important. So instead of teaching the, like users how to speak to a machine, we should be teaching the machines how to speak to the users. And that is where the power of conversation and the techniques will come. And our course will teach those things as well. Then, as I mentioned, like ethics and privacy is really important throughout. We are, providing an experience to the user. We would be collecting a lot of data about, their location, their payment, or things like that. And there's no ethical ways we actually provide that information to the users, saying, "Hey, these are the information we have collected, and it's somewhere in the terms and conditions," right? So there's a lot of opportunity to humanize the privacy and the ethical aspects of voice design as well. So the course will teach you those ethical and privacy aspects, so that you can include those in your design process of voice, and then make sure that you are thinking about it. Right now, the companies think about privacy in the end, but then I want them to think about privacy and ethics right in the beginning throughout the user-centered design process, so that we are building trust with everything. And then with all of these things, we will provide students capstone projects. So by the end of the course, they will have 1, 2, 3 capstone, depending on which package they choose. We have different packages available. So students will get to do 3 capstone projects. One for Alexa skill, which will be deployed in the Alexa devices. One will be Google Action, which will be deployed into the Google devices. And then one mobile app, which will be a standalone app in your smartphone.
You said quite a few things there, Shyamala, that are important, that privacy must be built into the process and it must be integrated. And then that students will go on to do a capstone project. Now, I know that not everybody is familiar with the term capstone, so tell us a little bit about what capstone means and how you will use those projects at the end of some of the modules.
Yeah, so capstone project is basically like, your final project. So basically what we have done is we have partnered with industry experts, and then we have created real world use cases, like what are the kind of use cases for which voice will be relevant. So for example, maybe, like building a cinema ticket bot, or maybe building a recipe bot, or something along those lines. So, we have like almost 25 to 30 different capstone ideas, the tangible ones, which will be, which can be part of your skill. You can either deploy it, and then if you want, you can also monetize it. Or if your goal is to start your own business, we will also let you select your own capstone project. And throughout the process, we will allow you to apply the principles and techniques into your idea as well. So we give you, a set of pre-built ideas which you can select from, and then, or you can select your own. So what we would do is with each module, we will be, applying real world processes. For example, you'll get to do research. You will also get to do, like a lot of testing with the actual users. You will get to design and develop these things using the conversational platforms which we have partnered with. And then, we will make sure that whatever idea you choose, start from the end, you're applying all of the voice design process. And by the end, we will help you through the certification process to deploy it into Alexa or Google Assistant or your applications.
That's pretty exciting then. As you just described, someone could come from an organization, or their future could be wide open and they could be just about to launch their own startup. So their project can be focused on their own business, which is pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, definitely. We don't want, so first, we don't want the students to feel that, this course is just for people who want to get into the big five. That's not the goal. We want to keep it open. We want to provide opportunities to everyone, and we want to enable everyone, because this space is really very exciting and has a lot of opportunities. And we just want to become that platform who helps people to do it. So people who want to start their own business, of course, the deploying of the apps will help you, like Alexa skills or Google Actions or your own apps, right? So, but for people who also who don't want to go the entrepreneur route and want to work with big companies or companies who are working in conversational design, what we have also done is we've partnered with career coaching. So one of the biggest problem which we have identified is like all these boot camps or like online courses, they provide you an online platform to learn something, but once the course is done, after that also many of the students do not get a job. And the biggest reason is because like maybe some of the you've learned the technical skills, but maybe you don't have those soft skills, or you still need to brush up. So for example, one of the biggest thing in design, whether it is UX design or interaction design, is portfolio review.
Mm-hmm.
Storytelling is very important when it comes to portfolio review. Many people are stuck with that stage, and many people fail to design better portfolios. So what we want to make sure is you learn the techniques which will help you design your portfolio the right way. So our career coaches will make sure that your portfolio is presentable enough to a hiring manager. They will guide you throughout. And then the second part of it is we will also make sure that we prepare you for interviews. So we will conduct some mock interviews with the industry experts so that we can see where you stand, and then we can guide you. We can make sure that you get to rectify your areas of improvements. And then make sure that we're not just leaving you that okay, you pay us the money, this is the course, but we will be there throughout till the end of the course, and also with our career programs, so you are able to successfully launch in a company wherever you want to.
No, that sounds really great. It's so important to help students along the way, isn't it? Especially younger students who have less life experience. And I would imagine, Shyamala, that you are so connected with the voice technology industry that you could also direct people to companies or types of industries that they could be applying towards. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely one part. And our career coaches are also like well established, and then they have a broad like reach as well. So we want to help the students as much as possible in whichever industry they want to.
Mm-hmm.
We want to make sure that it's not just the course, it's not just the capstone project, but also the soft skills, like I mentioned, storytelling. So like we also provide storytelling workshops, and then career coaching, and then resume building, portfolio and mock interviews, and these kind of additional support to the students, so that when they are done with the course, they are 100% confident and they will have a job in hand.
That's great. Do you think that you might even carry job opportunities at some point in the future?
Eventually, yeah, that's the goal, that like we will set up a placement cell as well.
Mm-hmm. Good. So a lot that students can fall back on with the Digital Assistant Academy. It's truly going to provide so much value to students. And really, whatever the dream is that the student has, your academy will help fulfill it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the goal, and I see that's the biggest gap. Like after the boot camps, most of the students are not successful. I would say it's like 20, 20% of the students get a job, 80% still struggle to get a job, right? Because you've done a boot camp, you got the experience, but you don't have a practical experience. And most of the capstone projects or ideas which are out there, those are not tangible, right? But here, whatever you're doing, you will be able to deploy it in a device with now it's active, and it's like up and running in whatever device of your choice, like Alexa, Google, or an app. And then you can either choose to show it as your portfolio, which is in production, or you can just monetize it and start like going in a different direction. So this course provides a lot of those kind of opportunities, and it has like too many variations to it.
That's great. So it's truly integrated, and it covers every aspect of learning and job seeking that a student could wish for. Yeah, that's brilliant. You come from the States, so does that mean that students can only come from the States to apply for the Digital Assistant Academy, or can they apply from any country in the world?
So the way we have designed this thing is, location independent. It is an online course which is self-paced, and our career coaches are spread across every country. And so, you can be in India or you can be in Australia and you want to take this course, and you can take it. So there's nothing which will stop you, because the entire program is designed in a way where you can do it self-paced at your own, like timing and time zone. We will provide you the entire online platform. And when you have to interact with the career coaches, we have our own mentoring platform through which you can schedule calls with the mentors at your local time zone, or you can, set up calls with your career coach at your time zone, and then they'll be able to support and guide you.
That's great. So self-paced, but again, people can connect with a real live human when they need to.
Yeah.
Perfect. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up this first episode of The Future is Spoken?
So one thing I would like to add is, like I mentioned, that we do provide the career support as well, right? So in addition to those things, we also, have our own, webinars. And the biggest thing what we have done with this course is, because this is a self-paced, but we would also have, different batches, and constantly in each batch we would have a set of students. So we have also ensured that we provide open hours to the students, like every month, so that if they have any questions throughout, because the curriculum is divided, like in a lot of modules, so it will be up to 6 months worth of course. So every month you would have an office hour with the instructor, mentors, career coach. So if you have any questions, you can always ask them in those open hours as well.
I see. So full support for all the students along the way.
Yes.
Great. And you mentioned something quite a bit earlier when we were chatting, and you talked about how quickly the industry is evolving. So I'm guessing that one of the goals for you is to help keep your graduates up to date. So you might offer update modules, additional courses that cover new developments in the voice technology industry. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's 100% accurate. We would provide the students with 1 year worth of, like 1 year of any updates for free included in the course. And after that, like if they want, we have very nominal fees just to, keep the content updated. So they can continuously get any updates or anything in the industry which is new or has changed, related information in there, which will be part of the course. And again, our certificates, we will also provide you the certificate of completion, and you would get based on the different achievements which you have done. So what that means is, like for each of the achievement, you would get a different certificate. So instead of giving you a certificate which will expire in a year or two, if any new module is introduced, because the industry has drastically changed, you would get, you would have to again go through the examination and the quizzes and, all the activities for that module. And then you will be able to get a different, certificate for that achievement.
I see. Okay. And of course, students, they need things like that to prove to employers that they have indeed completed a qualification. So that's important. Well, it's been lovely talking to you today. I've really enjoyed it, and I've learned quite a bit myself.
Thank you so much, Sheila.
Yeah, thank you. And we'll look forward to our next episode with you. And it's exciting as well, because we're going to feature in this podcast series many of the people who will be teaching the modules or at least speaking to the students as well. So we've got a huge variety of guests who are specialized in their given skill area for listeners to enjoy in upcoming episodes. So take care of yourself, enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and we look forward to connecting soon.
Thank you so much, Sheila, and you too. Take care.
You too. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening today. Remember, you can find all the information on how to become a certified voice interaction designer, along with show notes and more at our website, digitalassistant.academy. That's digitalassistant.academy. Pre-register before the Academy's launch in October for a 15% discount by entering the discount code DALAUNCH. That's a 15% discount with the code DALAUNCH. In our next episode, we'll be exploring the basics of voice interaction, exploring bots, voice assistants, and their uses. We'll also be looking at the skills a voice technology designer needs to succeed.